Hey sports fans, this is Straight from the Basement with Tommy Ommy. I'm a sports fan who always said, if I never played a sport professionally, then I want to talk about it. I'm born and raised in New York City. Played organized basketball for several well-known teams in the mid-'70s and the early '80s, such as the legendary Home Cold Rucker Tournament, Melbank, Stone Gym and Riverside Church, LaGuardia House, and my all-time favorite, Each One Teach One. Having sports in my life at an early age always kept me out of trouble. If I wasn't playing basketball, I was either playing football or baseball. Hey sports fans, this is Straight from the Basement with Tommy Ommy, where my opinions, views, and facts will cover the hottest, the latest, and the past sports events. Welcome once again. I want to continue to thank everyone who has liked and subscribed to my podcast. And if this is the first time you're viewing it, please do the same. No hot topics for this one. Listen, let's just get started with today's topic. I'm talking about the NBA first round 2025. Well, the playoffs is set. It is on. It is popping. We got the first round. Games 2 just about finished. Games 3 is about to jump off in the East and Western Conference. Listen, and listen well. I want to give you guys my opinions, views, and facts on each series. I want to give y'all the player matchups. I want to give you my opinion on who I believe is going to win the series and when they going to win the series. So let's get it on. I'm talking about Eastern Conference matchup, Cleveland Cavaliers, number 1 seed versus the Miami Heat, the 8th seed. Player matchups goes as follows. At the center positions, Cavaliers, Jarrett Allen versus Heat, Kal-El Ware. That matchup favors Jarrett Allen in my books. Ware is still wet behind the ears, like the young man, but he's just a baby in these playoffs in the NBA. So he got a lot to learn. Jarrett Allen, battle-tested, no-brainer. Let's move on to the power forward position. Cavaliers, Evan Mobley versus Heat, Bam Adebayo. Listen, Bam gets the nod in my books. No disrespect to Mobley, but Big Bam is battle-tested. Not wet behind the ears no more, Mobley is. It's just about dry, if you know what I mean. Big Bam, he gets that. Hands down, in my books. Mobley, yes, defensive. Scoring, yes, but Big Bam is that dog. Moving on to the small forward position. Cavaliers, Max Strus versus the Heat, Andrew Wiggins. Listen, both are veterans, but I give it to Wiggins all day long. Listen. Championship pedigree from those Warriors, no doubt. Moving on to the shooting guard position. Cavaliers, Donovan Spider Mitchell versus Heat, Alex Burke. All day long, no disrespect to Burks, but I'm going with the Mitchell. You already know Spider is Spider. Can't stop him, can't slow him down. Moving on to the point guard position, Cavs, Darius Garland versus the Heat, Tyler Hero. I call Tyler Hero Dance With Me. Garland, you already know. Both are veterans. I got them both evenly out. You know what I'm saying? Both can hit 20 to 25 to 30 any given night. So I got them even Steven. My opinion and who I believe is going to win this series is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they will win this series either in 5 or maybe 6. I'm giving you that strong, stretching that 6 out because I truly believe Cavs will win it in 5. They're not going to sweep the Heat culture. That's not going to happen. Eric Spoelstra, Bam, and Tyler's not going to allow that to happen. But they're going to lose the series. At least by 5. Just my opinion. Too much coming off that Cavaliers bench. And not enough scoring coming off the Heat's bench. That's my opinion. Rocking and rolling. Game 5 with the Cavs. So let's move on to the Boston Celtics number 2 seed versus the Orlando Magic 7 seed matchup. Player matchups goes as follows. Center position, Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis versus the Magic's Wendell Carter Jr. I give that to Kristaps. Give it to Porzingis. Championship number 1. He could take him outside. He could take him in the post. Whereas Carter Jr. only got the paint. He's only a box guy. He has no mid-range and he has no three-point shot. So the advantage in my books goes to Porzingis. Moving on to that power forward position with the Celtics. Jason Tatum versus Magic Pablo Banchero. Listen, this matchup, in my opinion, I give it to Jason Tatum because he's a championship pedigree, right? But I'm got Pablo right there, right underneath him. Listen, my Dookie, 260 pounds, low post game, mid-range game. He can hit the 3. But I got to give it to Jason Tatum. And let's move on to the small forward position. Talking about the Celtics, Jaylen Brown versus Magic, Franz Wagner. Listen, like Jason, I give it to Jaylen Brown. Franz Wagner, he right there. He creeping. He right there. Love his game. He can take it from the outside, mid-range, and low post. Jaylen Brown is a dog. He's battle-tested. So I give it to Jaylen Brown, and we move on to the shooting guard position. Celtics, Derek White versus Magic, Caldwell Pope. Listen, both are championship pedigree. Both can give it to you on both ends. Who's a little bit more consistent with his three-point shot? You give that to Derek White, but I got them even. Steven. Moving on to the last position, the point guard position. Celtics, Drew Holiday versus Magic, Corey Joseph. The only reason why Corey Joseph is there, because we know Jalen Suggs is out for the season. We know that, right? So we give the nod to the championship guy, Drew Holiday. He's a defensive-minded dude, number 1. Number 2, he can hit the 3 when he needs to, or he gonna post him. So you give that no-brainer to Drew Holiday. My opinion, who I believe is gonna win this series, Boston Celtics will win it either by sweeping them or maybe in 5. I said in my last show, I thought this series would go 6, but I forgot about Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner not being there. Nothing really coming off that bench. So, listen, I got to give the sweep or maybe 5 to the Celtics. That's the way I'm wrapping this series up. So, we're going to stick and stay with this Eastern Conference. We're going to move on down to the New York Knicks, 3rd seed, versus the Detroit Pistons, 6th seed. Player matchup goes as follows. At the center position, Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns versus Pistons, Jalen Duren. Jalen is a newbie. He's a baby, right? Wet behind the ears still. Love his low post on both ends, on the rebounding and his low post game on the offensive end. He's going to be a dog in this league, but he's still wet behind the ears. Whereas the Cat, man, he's been battle tested. Cat could take him in. He could take him out, right? Durant don't have a mid-range. He don't have no three-point. You know what I'm saying? So the edge goes to, it's a no-brainer, goes to the Cat, man. We move on to the power forward position. Knicks, Josh Hart versus Pistons, Tobias Harris. Both are battle-tested. Both battle-tested. Both got a little mid-range. Both could play on both ends of the court, right? I got that matchup even. Steven, moving on to the small forward position. Knicks, OG versus Pistons, Tim Hardaway Jr. Listen, both are veterans. Hardaway just a little bit more battle-tested with those Dallas Mavericks. But far as that matchup is concerned, I give it to OG all day long. The physicality is just too much. When OG decides he want to put his head down, it's over for Hardaway. No doubt he can't control that body, the mass of that body with OG. Too big, too strong. So we move on to the shooting guard position. Knicks, Mikal Bridges versus Pistons, Osar Thompson. That's a no-brainer. Strictly goes to Mikal Bridges. Thompson still wet behind the ears. Game 2, he looked kind of shook to me. Look, and I think he fouled out because he couldn't take it no more. That's all I'm saying. I think I got the wrong brother. I'm thinking about the brother in Houston. Thompson with the Detroit Pistons has been playing. You know what I'm saying? But I still give the matchup to Mikal Bridges. I want to move on to the point guard position. Knicks, Jalen Brunson versus Pistons, K. Cunningham. I ain't got to say nothing. I got them both even. Because I could go on and on with both. Not saying nothing, that's even Steven Kill. Case closed. My opinion on who I believe is going to win this series is the New York Knicks. And the Knicks should have swept them. Even though we into game 3, the Knicks should have swept them. Both games, game 1 was tight. Pistons right there for the taking. Just didn't know how to finish the game in game 1, right? You know what happened game 2. Knicks should have been sweeping these young cats. I got the Knicks in 6, though. I said it in my last show. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping I was going to be wrong. I'm trying to give the Knicks fans a little respect here. You know what I'm saying? But those Detroit Pistons are not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? If the Knicks know what I know, Knicks fans, I'm talking to y'all. If y'all want to avoid a game 7, Catman better demand that damn ball. He can't be finishing with 10 and 15 points for the game. Listen, don't let Detroit force a game 7. That's all I'm saying. So I want to move on to the next Eastern Conference matchup. I'm talking about the Indiana Pacers 4th seed versus the Milwaukee Bucks 5th seed. Player matchups as follows. Center position, Pacers, Miles Turner versus Bucks, Brook Lopez. Brook got the championship ring. Yes, he does. But I'm giving the edge to Miles Turner. Why? Because Miles, when he wants to, he got a low post game and he sticks with it from time to time. But yeah, he loves to shoot those threes and he can hit them. Big Brook Lopez, his ass, the way I see it, 80% of the time he's out in that three-point land like he's the Damian Lillard, shooting those long-ass threes instead of getting his big ass down in that post. So I give the edge to Miles Turner, even though Lopez got the championship ring. We move on to the power forward position. Pacers, Pascal Siakam, my dude, love his game, versus, you already know, Bucks Giannis. I got to give it to Giannis. No disrespect to Siakam. Giannis is just that beast, that animal, that unhinged animal. You give it to him all day. All day. Love Siakam. But, Giannis. We move on to the small forward position. Pacers. Aaron Nesmith versus Bucks Kyle Kuzma. Now, Kyle got a championship ring with my Lakers. This dude, Nesmith, I love his defense. Kyle's supposed to have the better offense, but he's not consistent at all. That's the reason why the Lakers let him go. He was supposed to be that third option behind AD, LeBron, and then him. And he had some days with the Washington Wizards because he was that man. But now he's with Giannis. He's inconsistent. So I give that matchup to Nesmith. Moving on to the shooting guard Pacers. Andrew Nembhard versus Bucks Taurean Prince. Listen, both even each other's out. You know what I'm saying? I like both games, right? Prince, he's a little bit more of a veteran, but Andrew, listen, he got better offense. So, but I want to just give them both even kill. I'm going to leave it like that. I don't need to get into it too much with these two. Point guard position, we finish it off with the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton versus Dame time. Damian Lillard. Lillard just getting back. Tyrese. Listen, I'm going to give both of them evenly matched. Yeah, Dame could score more. Tyrese is Tyrese when he's ready to score. You know what I'm saying? That assist, what he does is just unbelievable. Getting all players involved and scoring when he needs to. I give it even kill. I gotta give it even kill. Even though Damian Lillard is that dude. I still give it even kill. Now, my opinion of who's gonna win the Indiana Pacers versus the Bucks series, I got the Indiana Pacers winning this series in 5 or maybe 6. I'm going to stretch that maybe 6. Pacers, too young, too deep on that bench, not enough scoring coming off that Bucks bench. Doc Rivers is Doc Rivers. Some consider him a great coach. I don't. I consider him a very good coach, not a great coach, and I'll leave it like that. Pacers in 5. I give the Bucks maybe 1. Not even sure about that. But Pacers in 5, you know what I'm saying? And we just will move on. Pacers is just too much for the Bucks. So, I just wrapped up the Eastern Conference. I want to move on to the Western Conference matchups. Starting with the Oklahoma Thunder, the number 1 seed, versus the Memphis Grizzlies, the 8th seed. Playoff matchups as follows. At the center position, Thunder, Isaiah Hartenstein versus the Grizzlies, Zach Edey. Hartenstein is battle-tested with those Knicks. Edey is still wetting it behind the ear, but the rookie is playing. The rookie is playing, though. All season long, the rookie is playing. Listen, I got to give the edge to Hartenstein, though. You know what I'm saying? He just knows what to do when it's time to do it. So the edge in the center position for me, Isaiah Hartenstein. Moving on to the power forward position. Thunder, Chet Holmgren versus Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, Jackson Jr. is just a little bit more on the vet side. But I'm giving the matchup to Holmgren. Holmgren, my man, can take you in, take you out. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. The only problem with Jaren Jackson Jr., he stays in foul trouble. He don't know how to contain himself. Whereas Holmgren, he's in there doing key moments of the game, still doing the damn thing and playing great defense. So I give it to Chet all day long. All day long. Jaren Jackson Jr. got to get his shit together. I love him, but I want him to really mentally this offseason get his head together. Even though he's an all-star. Small forward position. Let's move on. Thunder. Jalen Williams versus Grizzlies. Desmond Bane. Listen, both. Bane more of the veteran. But listen, this for me is a tough one. Because when Bane is on, Bane is on. When Jalen is on, Jalen is on. Both can give you defense. I'm going to give this one even kill, even Steven. Yeah, I'm going to give it even Steven. I'm just going to give it even Steven. You know what I'm saying? I know Jalen is the bigger, and I know Grizzlies, you know what I'm saying? They basically playing three guards in this starting lineup. But I give it to Jalen slightly. Give it to Jalen slightly because Jalen can post them. You know what I'm saying? I give it to Jalen slightly. I really want to say even kill. As you can see, I'm going back and forth with it, but I want to move on to the shooting guards. Thunder, Lou Dort versus Grizzlies, Scottie Pippen Jr. I give it to Dort. Dort is more of a veteran. Scottie is just getting his days. This is his season, and he's been playing great. You know what I'm saying? Scottie Pippen Jr., but I give it to Dort. The defense lockdown king is no joke. Maybe the sixth man of the year. I'm not sure if that award came out yet, but we give it to Dort, Lou Dort all day long. And we finish with the point guard position. Thunder, you already know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus the Grizzlies, Ja Morant. Now, I got SGA as an MVP. Ja Morant, you already know what he brings to the table. But I'm giving the edge to Shai. Even though Ja's been there a little longer, I give it all day to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know what I'm saying? He got the mid-range. He got the three. He got the low post. Whereas Ja, he don't have a low post, but he going to take it in. He going to attack. That three, when it's hitting. But it ain't consistent like Shai. So I give the edge, no doubt, all day to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. My opinion and who I believe is going to win this series. And I'm going to say it even before the series began, I had OKC either sweeping them or maybe by the fifth game. Because anytime you fire your coach, Taylor Jenkins, a few weeks just before playoffs, you know what I'm saying? The team's going to head for disaster. They lost out there. You know what I'm saying? They lost. They all doing their own thing. And it showed again, game two. They all just doing their own thing. There's no structure. You know, I don't know what the interim coach is talking. I don't know if they even listening to him. I don't even know if it's a thing where they just want the season to end. That's the way they played game two. And I'm just saying there's no structure. They need a Mike Malone to come and rescue the organization this offseason. I'm just throwing Mike Malone out there. I believe he will be the right coach to get this crew because they got the crew. You know what I'm saying? They got the crew, right? And so, listen, I got all day either OKC sweeping them or maybe 5. So, we move on to those Houston Rockets, the number 2 seed, versus the Golden State Warriors, the 7th seed. Player matchup as follows. Center, Rockets. Big man Sagoon versus Draymond Green. We got Draymond with 4 rings. To Sagoon, who just really starting his career. We got Draymond, who can hit the 3 from time to time, and who runs that offense. But we got a big man in Sagoon, who Draymond just can't stop on the offensive end. If he begged for it, he couldn't stop him. So, with that in mind, I'm giving the edge to Draymond. You thought I probably was going to say Sagoon. Sagoon, he's almost like a miniature Joker. But I got to give the edge to Draymond because it's more than scoring. Draymond with his passing. I mean, he's running the offense. He's hitting when he needs to hit. So I give the edge to Draymond Green. No doubt. Got to give it to him. No doubt. So we move on to the power forward position. Rockets, Mr. Brooks, I call him, versus the Warriors, Moses Moody, who I love. I love his game. I got to give the edge to Brooks, the bad boy Brooks, Dylan Brooks. Listen, he's battle tested. You know what I'm saying? With those Memphis Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying? Defensive specialist. He hangs his hat. Moses Moody is no slouch, though. I like Moses. I like him a lot. But I got to give the edge to Dylan Brooks. So I want to move on to the small forward position with the Rockets. Amon Thompson versus Warriors, Jimmy Bucket Butler. Listen, hands down, Jimmy Buckets. No need to even talk about it no more. No disrespect to Amon Thompson. You know what I'm saying? But he looked like he was shook. Game 2, talking about Amon Thompson. Looked like he wanted to foul out in Game 2. Couldn't take it no more. Jimmy Buckets is just too much. It's a no-brainer. We move on to the shooting guard position. Rockets, Jalen Green versus Warriors, Stephen Curry. I ain't got to say nothing. No disrespect to Green. No disrespect to that young man, but we're going to leave it alone, and we're going to move on to the point guard position. Rockets, Fred Van Vliet versus Warriors, Brandon. Like that dude, Brandon. Like him a lot. Fred, not consistent with his 3-point shots at all. Yes, he got a championship ring. But you know what? I'm going to give them even kill. Even Steven. That's my opinion on those two. And my opinion of who's going to win the series. I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. Yes, I am. A lot of people going with those Rockets, but I'm going with the Warriors. I'm going with the Warriors either in 5 or maybe 6. The veteran Warriors. After that game, too, I said to myself, listen, it's too much. Rockets can't handle this. They not ready mentally like the way a lot of people thought. They just not mentally ready. It's just too much. Just too much for them. Yes, they got a deeper bench. But listen. When you dealing with Curry and the Draymonds and the Butlers, forget about it. It's a wrap. 5. Warriors in 5, maybe 6. Maybe 6. Steve Kerr and Coach Udoka, listen. It's a no-brainer. Who I rock and roll with, Kerr all day. Coach Udoka, listen, he can coach. But he's not on Steve Kerr level, so we go with Golden State Warriors, hands down. Moving on to the next series. Yes, my Los Angeles Lakers 3rd seed versus the Minnesota Timberwolves 6th seed. Player matchup as follows. At the center position, Lakers, Jackson Hayes versus the Wolves, Rudy Gobert. Yeah, Jackson Hayes, he's still wet. It's still wet behind both ears. I like his energy. But he's no match for Rudy Gobert. Even though Rudy's not dominating, and that's not his thing far as on the offensive level, but Rudy can score when he wants to, right? In that paint, number one, number two. The defensive presence is just, hands down, you got to think twice. I don't care who you are, because he's most likely going to get it on the block. So I give the edge, hands down, to Rudy Gobert. I want to move on to the power forward position. Lakers, LeBron James versus Wolves, Julius Randle. Listen, these are two dogs. One just older than the other. I'm giving the edge to LeBron. Even though Randall's an all-star, he can score with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? But mentally, in the experience, it goes hands down to LeBron, the king. So I give it to the king. Randall right there. But he's a hothead. He don't know how to control himself when the kettle busts. You know what I'm saying? When that kettle, when that tea is boiling and the kettle pops off, he don't know how to put it back on, is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to move on to the small forward position. Lakers, Rui Hachimura. My dude versus the Wolves, Jaden McDaniels. I give the edge to Rui. Rui's been around. Yes, Jaden, he's a dog. Like him, like his game. But I give it to Hachi. You know what I'm saying? Both got mid-range. Both can hit it from the three. But I just give it to Hachi. Because Hachi's been around. He's been more battle-tested. So I'll give it to Hachi. Shooting guard position, Lakers, Austin Reeves versus the Wolves, Anthony Edwards. I don't really need to not to even disrespect my Austin Reeves, but I got to give it to the Ant-Man, hands down. I'm going to leave it like that. Can't disrespect my man Reeves. Leave it like that, and we move on to the last position, which is the point guard position. Lakers, Luka versus Mike Conley. Both are veterans, right? Both veterans. Mike's been around a long time. But I give it to the Luka, man. Gotta give it to the Doncic. No doubt. So who do I believe is going to win this series? I got my Lakers winning it in 6. Maybe in 7. Still, even though it's tied, going back to Minnesota. But we figured out what we needed to do. And the key thing J.J. Redick got to keep in mind, we got to put his big ass on the bench early. Talking about Rudy Gobert. We put him in foul trouble early. The lanes then open up for the Reeves and the LeBrons and the Lukas and the Hachis. You know what I'm saying? But you got to put Rudy Gobert on that bench and keep his big ass on that bench. We can deal with Nas Reed getting to the paint. Nas no joke. You know what I'm saying? But Rudy's that presence. We know that. So I got my Lakers, and I got them in a 6, maybe 7 game series. Yeah, it's going to be a series. So we're going to move on to those Denver Nuggets, y'all. Denver Nuggets, 4th seed versus the Los Angeles Clippers, 5th seed. Player matchup as follows. At the center position, yes, from the Nuggets, we got the Joker versus Clippers, Zubac. Listen, we got 2 big tree trunks. That's the way I look at this matchup. 2 big tree trunks going at it. Zubac with the low post game, but the Joker got the mid-range, he got the 3. He's the champion. He's the 3-time MVP of the year. Yeah, got to give it to the Joker, man. His passing and everything else he does. Come on, he runs the offense. He runs the whole entire team on both ends of the court. So you give it to the Joker. No disrespect to Zubac, but he's not in his level. Zubac knows that too. Moving on to the power forward position. Nuggets, Aaron Gordon versus the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi is back, y'all. And he's been back for the last good month to 2 months. That knee is holding up. We gonna pray because he's giving us like Jordan likeness. My dude is playing. Aaron Gordon, he's a beast when he wants to. When he want to put his head down, go in that paint, play bully ball, yeah, it's hard to stop him. That's strength. But I give the edge all day to Kawhi because Kawhi is back. And he got everything, the whole package on both ends of the court. So I give it to Kawhi Leonard. Moving on to the small forward position. Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. versus Clippers, Norman Powell. I give it to Powell, and I give it to Powell all day. Both got championship rings, but Powell's more consistent with his scoring. Porter only depends on his three-point shot, and if that's not going, he continues to shoot. He may go in from time to time, but I give it all day to Norman Powell. Moving on to the small forward position, Nuggets. The shooting guard position is what I want to say. Nuggets, Christian Braun versus Clippers, Chris Dunn. Listen, I like both of these cats. I like them both on both ends of the court. But I got them evenly matched. Even Dunn is the more experienced dude. But I give it to both. Even Steven, Chris Braun, who I love his game. You know what I'm saying? The young man ain't scared to go in that paint and dunk it on you. Dunn, likewise. I give it to both of them. Even kill. Moving on to the point guard position. Nuggets, Jamal Murray versus Clippers, James Harden. Now, Jamal with the championship ring, never been an all-star. James Harden, you already know his MO. You already know what this man has done for NBA. So I got to give it. If I'm going to give it, I got to give it to James Harden. You know what I'm saying? But then I go and I sway back to Jamal Murray because I know Jamal is that fourth quarter, 2-minute dude in which James Harden has not proved in his career that he's that fourth quarter game 7 2-minute dude. So I'm going to give the edge to Jamal Murray. You thought I was going with Harden. No. My opinion, who I believe is going to win the series, is the Denver Nuggets. And I got the Denver Nuggets winning this series in 7. Strictly straight up 7. If you've been watching, and I knew how this series was going to go down before it even went down. I knew this series was going to be tight every game, and so far, I've been correct. I'm going with the Denver Nuggets. Game 7. 3 minutes left. It's the Joker and the Murray show. You already know. Everybody knows that's coming, but you can't stop it. I believe it gets through again. They come through again. And you already know the duo between Kawhi and Harden. I believe Harden, until he can prove me wrong, may start fading away. Kawhi comes up short. It's the Joker, Murray, 2 minutes. It's over. Denver pulls it out. Game 7. Yes, the Clipper bench is deeper. This series, the bench really doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So listen, I'm hoping all of y'all continue to watch the first round. As certain series go deeper, You already know it just gets more crazier, more exciting. Listen, I love it. The semifinal round, oh my God, don't even talk about it. Don't even think about it. It's going to be insane. Listen, I want to thank y'all all for hanging out with me in my basement. To my viewers and to my listeners, please continue to check me out on YouTube and subscribe. Check me out on my streaming platform, Spotify. Also, I'm live. I'm TikTok live. 9 p.m. Eastern Time every Tuesday and Thursday, at least I try to be, to give you guys these smoking, entertaining hot topics in sports. Plus, remember to check out the Even Flow Coffee Company, created to combine the interests of coffee lovers, fashion, and music. For more information or to make a purchase, visit evenflowcoffee.com. As I always say, sports is what keeps this world from going insane, either in the pandemic or no pandemic. Until next time, take care.